something's gotta give. What is wrong with this team? I cannot put into words what I am seeing right now, because the team is not playing. It's not as bad as it has always been, previously in the past. Are you kidding me? Real Betis, are they really that good? Real Sociedad, are they really that good? Because Betis today, they won every challenge. I mean, they went onto every single duel and beat us physically, with intensity. Intensity is not a word I like to use to describing football games, but here it's perfectly utilized, because let me tell you, the energy that they put into this game was far superior than that of Barcelona. We saw with few individual players. I think that Rafinha can held, of course, his head very high up, Lewandowski, but certain others like Ferran Torres and Frenkie de Jong, those two substitutions leave me a lot to think about, a lot, particularly from both two players that I really do enjoy quite a lot. So guys, today, well, let's analyze the draw between Real Betis and Barcelona. Let's get right to it. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, unfortunately, it's a draw. It's not been the best run of fixtures for Barcelona, and certainly I hate doing videos in these circumstances. We all want to be celebrating the 5-1s, the 4-0s, but that's not really happening at the moment. Barcelona are quite struggling, and I want to find out what exactly is it, because right now the only reason that I have is Betis were better than us. How can that be? Before we enter and analyze the game, just like always, we need to look at the starting 11. This is how Barcelona line up for this game. Iñaki Peña, who had a very good game in all circumstances, all context taken into account. Jules Koundé, Pau Cubarsí, Íñigo Martínez, and Alejandro Valde. Pedri, Casado, and Dani Olmo was the midfield, with Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Rafinha the front three. That's the starting lineup. That's the Gala 11 from Barcelona at the moment. Real Betis went with Veites as the goalkeeper. Rui Silva, the Portuguese goalkeeper, suffered an injury in the warm-up, so he's not there. Diego Llorente and Bartra, the two center backs, with Perrot, the Frenchman, through the left, and Saali, the Senegalese, through the right. Mateo Flores at the CDM position with Altimira, and then they went with Abde, Giovanni Lo Celso, Chimi Avila, and Vitor Roque. Two things to mention really quickly before we move into Barcelona. Chimi Avila, I hate this guy, dude. I never really has seen him play this or pay too much focus onto this player, but he's such a dislikable human being. I mean, what's the deal to go that hard to every single challenge, every duel? Like, your life depends on it. I mean, I like it. I probably would enjoy this guy if he was on my team, but so dislikable, really, because then at least someone like Gavi, who also likes to go into every challenge like a freaking pit bull, he does not then say, oh, it's not my fault. Oh, nothing really happened. Chimi Avila is completely the contrary. Well, Vitor Roque, another player that I wanted to certainly take a look at how his game was developing in Real Betis, particularly in this match, because we're watching him directly and playing against Barcelona. I really like his runs off the ball. I think that is something perhaps that actually would have been very beneficial for Barcelona in the moment. I know it's certainly very just convenient to take a look at that and analyze Vitor Roque in that sense once we are not playing the best, but I mean, certainly those tool sets would have come very much in handy. I mean, he's faster than Ferran Torres, and they basically do the same thing. And with Ferran Torres, yeah, I'm gonna talk about him a little bit, but I want to go in chronological order, so he's gotta wait. I have some certain few words for the Shark that you all know. I really much love him. He's in the description of this channel. I'm literally a fan of the Tiburon Torres, of the Shark Torres, of Ferran Torres the Shark, and I'm here gonna criticize him very. So guys, I got a question for you. If you could pinpoint directly what is wrong with Barcelona and what went wrong in this game, what would you say it'd be? Is it something that right now we can control ourselves, or is it something that particularly perhaps it's affecting more externally, our variables like Betis just being too good, or Real Sociedad were too good, or is it like the substitutions that maybe we took out Rafinha, Lewandowski for Pau, Victor, and Frenkie de Jong, and Ferran Torres as well? So is it the substitutions? Is it the team selection? What needs to improve? Is it maybe the teams have find us out a little bit? Is it the one way of playing with the formation with a very high line? What do you think is up with Barcelona in this current moment? I first of all have to admit that I do believe that certain teams have sort of found a way to play against us. I think Real Betis and Real Sociedad, the two Reales, kind of find a very good way to play against us because they understood that if they can take advantage of a very high line and press themselves and be very organized when defending, the counterattacks and transitions that they can have can be very, very dangerous. I mean, that is something that constantly happened during this game. And I don't know if you remember, but there was a occasion that Rafinha kind of pulled saved the ball from the byline. Look at this. That's very early on into the game. Rafinha was absolutely everywhere. And take a look at this. Cleared it off the line, but that was very early on in the game. So it means that Real Betis, as soon as 30 seconds in, I think they already had a corner. And then 3 minutes after, there were already 4 corners. So there were more corners than minutes played in this match. And that tells you the intensity that Betis came into this game. So if actually Betis goes like this, they match you in intensity, I think you got to turn it up. You got to be a little more physical. And maybe that's a part where our players are struggling a bit. I think that when it comes to having such a big pool of players and youngster players, I think that physically, maybe sometimes we will struggle in trying to match the physicality of other teams because simply they're not at their peak yet when it comes to having a physical, presence. I think their body needs to develop a little bit more. You stop developing around like 21 years of age or 22. So yeah, I think that certainly we are looking for players to be in their peak physically. I mean, I of course I criticize Ferran Torres a lot, but that's a good example. A player who's right now 24 and is entering that age which he can build on his body and be that sort of physical guy. I think that Frenkie de Jong has, I don't know if you agree, but I looked at him a little bit more built. He looks a little bit bigger. But this, I cannot say the same about players like Pedri, like Lamine Yamal, like Asado. I think those players are just entering that sort of era in their lifetime, so they certainly can get a little bit bigger. And I think those balones divididos, it's how you call it in Spanish, the duels that we wanted to win, Betis just were winning every single one of them. And that's something that makes me a little bit nervous because I'm like, we need to start winning these duels. At the start of the year, we won them all. What happened? What actually happened with this Barcelona that were unbeatable in every single situation? Was it the opponents? What is it? What was it? I'm not sure. I cannot pinpoint it, and that's going to be the main worry that I have at the moment. Another thing is that whenever those duels happen, you can take a look at how Betis on the left, they have 4 big chances to 3 from Barcelona and 12 total shots compared to 9. We have to make more saves as well. Iñaki Peña had to make 3 saves. The possession, we had 62 to only 38, but still, they were creating more chances. Look, the tackles, 23 tackles to just 15 from Barcelona. The passes that they had, 311 to 521. It's much less, but they're winning more. Whenever there's a situation, we need to dispute the ball, Betis were winning. And I think that for me is the most worrying. And particularly with what we look at Pedri and Casado, that were our most kind of hard-working midfielders at the start of the season, that is something that they have not been able to maintain so far. So I think that that's a worry for me right now at the moment when we're thinking of what's going wrong with Barcelona. Maybe our players are just not in that moment, I wanted to mention, particularly for me, the worst part of this game was the second half. At the start of it, Barcelona had a chance with Balde, kind of a shot or a cross that almost went into the back of the net. It was a very, very powerful shot. But after that, Real Betis, in just 10 minutes of the second half, by the minute 56, they had 3 chances by headers that were all very close: Altimira, Chimi Avila, and Apte. And then 1 shot by Avila 10 minutes in as well, which Iñaki Peña made an incredible shot. Iñaki Peña, if it wasn't for him, there were plenty of chances to open nets. I think that we would have conceded 2 certain chances, one from Avila and one from, I think, was Abde, that he saved in the first half. So Barcelona and Iñaki Peña, well, their relationship has to be building in a sense, because he's looking like a very important player. And whenever we think that Iñaki Peña needs to forget to continue playing, like we take him out, he always comes out with an incredible performance. And here he made 3 saves, and all of them very crucial. And the one run out that he made, it was successful as well. I'm looking at Iñaki Peña, and I'm looking at a player who at the moment is rising up to the occasion. And for me, the most important thing maybe was that Chesney came in, and that certainly elevated the level of Iñaki. And even Chesney himself said it, like, there's no reason why I should be starting at the moment over Iñaki Peña. We're talking about a goalkeeper that is in the right age, 25 years of age, just like me, in the peak of his life. And yeah, there's no reason why Chesney should be carrying over him at the moment. Unfortunately, I guess you could say we haven't seen Chesney so far, but maybe the Copa del Rey, that definitely is where we're gonna be seeing him quite a bit. So for guys, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us a lot. Like, you do not understand how much a simple like can help a YouTube channel. It really tells YouTube, hey, you're liking this content, you're learning something new, we're gonna keep giving this guy attention and sending it throughout the space, and the algorithm is gonna like it a lot. So if you really want to help me out, there's a way to say thank you for anything. That if you enjoy the content, that's a way to do it. I really appreciate it quite a lot. We're trying to reach 30k subscribers by the end of this year. I really hope that's possible, but it's a very tough ask. But I think that if we join forces, we can certainly, particularly if Barcelona can start turning it around, because the better Barcelona do, the better football does, you know, and football YouTubers that cover Barcelona will do so as well. But anyhow, there's a player that I wanted to discuss because I think he had a quiet game today. Someone who has been on fire, absolutely, I think every day has been for Barcelona this season, and that's Dani Olmo. I think that Dani Olmo was very quiet in this game. I think that Dani Olmo was having a little bit of a struggle to find the best place as a number 10. He drifted quite a lot to the right and to the left in this game. He wasn't particularly centric and playing as a classical 10 that we all know and love, and where I think is actually his best position. And it's the first time that I've seen Dani Olmo miss quite a bit of passes and also not take the right decisions. So I actually want to hit you with the right number, and let's see if I can find what is the number of a Dani Olmo's passes. 60 minutes played. I mean, he's coming out of the injury. He had 27 touches, and I would expect Dani Olmo in 60 minutes to have a lot. You just would have expected. I mean, Dani Olmo is such a crucial player for what we want for ball progression and the circulation of whenever we're in possession, and that hasn't happened. Look at this. 11 balls from Dani Olmo, 16 passes, and only 11 were accurate. So that tells me that, like I said, a quiet game. I think that Dani Olmo really was struggling a little bit with the creative part of this in this match. I don't know if that's something that's going to continue, you know, and transcend to other matches, but he looked a little bit off it today, and I think that's something worth mentioning. I just found this post that I think perfectly encapsulates what Rafinha is for the team at the moment. I don't know what you think. Look at this. We need to score a goal. Say no more. We need to create chances. I gotcha. We need help at the back. No worries. Rafinha is really that guy. There's a video that I encourage you all to watch and try to find it, because I haven't found it myself. And it's a video of Rafinha celebrating the goal from Ferran Torres. He ran directly from the bench, screaming and, you know, having all this energy in his face, going like, let's go, you know, and for me, that passion is what I want from my players in a team. You know, if I was manager, he would immediately be my captain. And I genuinely think that we should keep keep De Jong bench, because Rafinha, it means Rafinha is still captain. That's the only reason. Not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons, certainly, 100%. But let's talk about now, I guess you could say good news. The little bit of the goal, I think we want to analyze that as well, because that's a main part of the game that right now Barcelona are not exploiting as much. I think that Pedri needs to be more on the ball. I'm liking what Pedri does. I think at the start of the year, Pedri was 100%, you know, the main guy. He really was the guy who made every chance possible, and he kept the ball ticking. For me, that's the most important thing. You can have a lot of passes, but if right now the passes that you have are not productive at all, that really struggles. And if Dani Olmo is not giving you that, then Pedri has to be the one to stand up. You know, he has a lot of responsibilities, but at 21 years of age, 20 years of age, I think he's more than capable to doing it with the sort of talents that he has, right? So the first goal came from the pass from Koundé into Lewandowski, but there's a previous pass from Pedri here. You see where is Koundé here, and there is Pedri giving the through ball into Koundé. These sort of triangles that we make with Koundé, Pedri, and Lamine Yamal, you can see Lamine Yamal here. I think that is what we need to exploit a bit more. I think this team are very technical, Barcelona. We are very technical. But whenever a team like Betis really closes down, we're struggling to break them down. And the triangles that we always used to see, and that people like Pep Guardiola, Arteta, Xavi all love, are still very useful when it comes to this, when it comes to breaking these triangles and making the ball fast. I really like the way that Barcelona transition is super quick under Hansi Flick, and that's the best thing that has happened to us. But let's try and find this, because we need to adapt still. I think in football, for me, there are three ways you see a team. Like, you see a team when they're defending, you see a team, the shape of a team when they're defending, you see the shape of a team when they're in transition, and you see the shape of a team when they're attacking. The shape that you have when attacking is not going to be the same that you have when you're transitioning, and it's not going to be the same that you have when you are defending. And in transition, even the shapes is like all over the place, because it really matters. There's 1,000 variables. You cannot control them all. So I think that's going to be a problem for Barcelona Barcelona at the moment. Let's see what the shape is going to be when we find ourselves against these low blocks, because that's where we've been struggling a bit. And not actually, I guess, low blocks, but against low blocks where the team are very organized in the transition phase. Betis, Real Sociedad, Monaco, those teams that really make us struggle, they're all very good when it comes to transition. Their organization is top notch, and it made it very difficult for us to attack them in the transition. So what do we do now? Oh, we're gonna struggle because we don't know how to break them down. So we need to be finding a better way to break them, these teams down in that moment. And now, guys, I want to talk about the second goal. I guess we can just move onwards into it. And this is the second goal from Lamine Yamal. Look at Lamine Yamal here. Just simple cut through, and then the ball into Ferran Torres is incredible. There's a better angle that I found for you guys. Look at this. Look at this angle. When you're on there on the field, to be able to see this, you already have to know, that you need to have the perspective on the entirety of the field and how the players are going to be lining up on it. And Lamine Yamal does this so perfectly. He's really just one in a million years you can find a player like this. And we know quite a lot of few players who can do it, but a very little particular Argentinian man who has done this quite a lot with Barcelona and also wearing the 19 shirt. Quite interesting here. But here at first glance, I thought this goal was offside, but you can see the foot of Heitor Ruel. And I'll be honest here, I would have blamed Ferran Torres if this wasn't a goal. Look, if you were offside and they cut you out like this, you had Pau Victor behind you, and he was onside, and then you took it, because this is not the first time that Ferran Torres took the chance. There was another chance where Ferran Torres tried to... Lamine Yamal did an incredible opportunity. I don't know if you realize. He dribbled past everyone on the right-hand side, had the opportunity to shoot on goal, but Ferran Torres took it, and he was offside, and that would have been the best goal of the season. I kid you not. Lamine Yamal was incredible there, and Ferran Torres took it. And this is where I want to criticize a little bit of the Shark, because although I like Ferran Torres, I mean, he just needs to focus a bit more on there. He's trying too hard, and when you try too hard, that's a problem. He got 2 goals now, one against Mallorca, one against Betis now, which is good. He needs to be more of a team player, I think, because the goal against Mallorca was a little bit of a whatever goal, and the goal against Betis here is literally magic from Lamine Yamal. The maker is Ferran Torres, but the owner of the goal is Lamine Yamal. Who owns the copyright to that goal? It's Lamine Yamal, not Ferran Torres. And even though I like him a lot, I like the mentality and whatnot, maybe it's going a little bit too far. You need to step it a little bit back, because I think that his goals need to have a little bit of a more weight, and that's where we're struggling quite a bit with Ferran Torres. We, of course, have to come and discuss what is the biggest and the most controversial part of this game that I know a lot of you will want to analyze. And that is, I don't know why, is Frenkie de Jong penalty on Vitor Roque. Minute 59, Frenkie de Jong comes on. Barcelona are winning 1-0. 64 minutes in, only 5 minutes later, Frenkie de Jong commits a foul and gives a penalty to Real Betis, and the foul on Vitor Roque. 3 minutes later, Real Betis score the penalty and they equalize 1-1. Frenkie de Jong, my God, I don't know what's going on with him. What is going... I want Frenkie de Jong to be such an important player. I love this guy. I really, really enjoy Frenkie de Jong, but right now I just feel that everything's going against him. The fans are against him. Not all of us, Frankie. I'm still with you. But fans are against him. And with the right, I think the difference is that before fans were against him, but there weren't any relevant or significant arguments to be against Frenkie, but now they are. Now there are quite a few. You could say that he's not getting enough playing time. You can say that whenever he gets the playing time, he commits mistakes like this, the constant errors and mistakes. You could say that he just doesn't have a room in the team right now. I don't know where he fits. I really don't know, because Pedri is doing his job better than him, and Casado is just superb. He's the only proper CDM that we have in the team, and quite a good ball-winning CDM at that. So Frenkie, I don't know what to give. Normally, this foul would have been given 100% in the middle of the park, so I guess that was a penalty. The only reason why this was given, I do think, is because down here you can see that Frenkie de Jong is stepping onto the shoe of Vitor Roque, and I was wondering, can we debate and discuss maybe that the shoe is not like part of the player and whatnot? But at the end of the day, like when you really think about it, I mean, he steps on his shoe actually kind of goes out, he has to pick it up later after this challenge, Vitor Roque. So I guess it's a fair penalty, but we should not encourage any more drum on Frenkie de Jong. We really cannot, because it's not. I think we just need to let the player play. But this was a very big mistake and big turning point for Real Betis, for Barcelona. I think we're very calm in this game, and I think that if we maintain the 1-0 lead going into these few minutes, particularly into the 70th minute, we could have certainly gotten something out of this game. Now we have to wait and hope for Girona to get a result against Real Madrid, because if not, Real Madrid will have the chance once again to lift us and surpass us in the league. So let's wait and see how it goes, guys. Let's wait and see. That's gonna be all for it at the moment, guys. Hope you have enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Take care.